Sabi ni Consuelo, hi, di ba nasa China ka? I thought bawal mag-FB sa China. Well, there are ways that you can use FB. But to be honest, guys, if you compare FB to Chinese social media platforms, laos ang Facebook. As in, you cannot do anything with Facebook. No? Chinese social media platforms, you can do it. You can live your life. Like, you can use Chinese social media here for everything. Paying grocery, booking a taxi, a cab, a car, booking your plane ticket. Kaya hindi na ako magtataka na hindi magiging matagumpay dito ang FB eh. Kasi nga, it cannot compete with Chinese social media with the utility of Chinese social media. Super. Ayan guys, part 2 tayo ngayon at naka-off pala yung comment section ko, yung public comment section ko, kaya wala palang nakakapag-comment. Pero magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ito po si Sass para sa Q&A nating gabi, live from Beijing. Ayan, siguro nakakapag-comment na yung mga tao, no? Nakakapag-comment na ba kayo? Can you already post comments? Nakapag-comment na ba? Tingnan natin. Nakapag-comment na ba kayo, guys? Part 2 tayo. Take 2 pala. Part 2 tuloy. Take 2. Ayan. So, nakapag-comment na ba ang ating mga friends? Ayan! Mas maganda ang ating mga usapan. Okay. Ayan, pwede na. Fantastic. Hello sa mga nasa Moscow. Hello. Ayan, pwede na mag-comment. So, magku-Q&A tayo ngayon. Mas maganda na ngayon. Hello sa mga nasa Malta. Hello. Ayan. Do you like my Chinese name? Jiao Sass. Ayan, di ba? Hello, everyone. Mali yung accent mo, Sergey. Sa I, dapat, siya, yung neutral. So, kamusta mga friends? Hello sa mga nasa Germany. May pasabog ka again daw. I don't know, ano bang pasabog ko? Malikot daw ang camera ko kasi hawak-hawak ko lang po siya, no? Wala. Naiwan ko yung aking, ano bang tawag dyan? Camera stick, cellphone stick, whatever. Ayan. So, mag-aano na tayo ngayon and mas maganda na ang ating chikahan. Okay, any question? Now, start asking your question now that you can comment on my live stick, selfie stick, tripod, ayan. Shout out from Public Attorney's Office Makati. Hello po sa mga taga Public Attorney's Office Makati. Allowed ba kayong manood ng live ko? Hindi ba kayo matatanggal sa trabaho pag nanonood kayo ng live ko? Kayo dyan mga nasa Public Attorney's Office. Charot. Okay, tanong ni Ezekiel, kamusta ang mouthpiece of China in China? Ito. Ang sarap ng pagkain at ang mura. Sabi ni Mario, how will Xi Jinping counteract economic US pressure? Just develop their own strength. That's all there is to it. Tanong ni Sun, Misas, marami ka bang nakitang Pinoy student sa uni mo? No, only one. Only one Filipino student. Sabi ni Consuelo, hi, di ba nasa China ka? I thought bawal mag-FB sa China. Well, there are ways that you can use FB. But to be honest, guys, if you compare FB to Chinese social media platforms, laos ang Facebook. As in, you cannot do anything with Facebook. No? Chinese social media platforms, you can do it. You can live your life. Like, use Chinese social media here for everything. Paying grocery, booking a taxi, a cab, a car, booking your plane ticket. Kaya hindi na ako magtataka na hindi magiging matagumpay dito ang FB eh. Kasi nga, it cannot compete with Chinese social media, with the utility of Chinese social media. Super. Okay. Tanong ni Sara, kung mag-senator ka kaya, says, no, the problem with the Philippines is its system. You change its system to a parliamentary system, federal system, and then you relax FDI. At kahit sinong ilagay mo dyan sa Senate, it will be the same thing because the system is the problem. Tanong ni Hanilet, bakit po kaya mas pinipili ng West mag-invest sa Vietnam na socialist compared sa Philippines sa democracy? There are a lot of reasons. Okay, one, ang kailangan nyo malaman is ano ba ang main business strategy ngayon ng multinational corporations. Ang main business strategy nila ngayon ay China plus one. Ano ibig sabihin nito? They would like to diversify production base. So mag-move sila out of China, but just some portion of their production. And they will choose countries that are close to China because of course the transaction cost, transportation cost, etc. So Vietnam is close to China. And so that's the geo-economic reason, no? Vietnam is closer to China, so it's much cheaper to move production to Vietnam than to the Philippines. Kasi ganun na movement ngayon eh. Kasi the thing about China is, nagta-transition na kasi guys ang China from low manufacturing jobs to a higher manufacturing jobs. So, yung low manufacturing jobs nila ngayon guys, medyo, it's still competitive, but the thing is, it's much, kung iyong company requires cheaper labor, tumataas na ang labor cost dito sa China. So, a lot of them, like for example, iPhone. A lot of you don't know na yung iPhone, okay, it is assembled in China by Foxconn. And the components of iPhone, a lot of them, some of them are also manufactured in China. So ngayon, it's now parang, dahil tumataas ng labor cost, so they move the assembling cost ng iPhone mismo. Like, for example, in India. Kasi nga, mas mababa na yung labor cost sa India. So they transferred to India. Okay. So that's one of the reasons. So geo-economic reason. Spatial economy. Spatial economy is the study of the geographical aspect of economics. And Vietnam, compared to the Philippines, wins hands down in terms of geo-economic considerations. Number two is, of course, there is a political reason. We are a very volatile geopolitical risk, and long-term investors will not invest in a country that is a geopolitical risk. They will invest, pero the money that they are investing will only for short-term, not long-term. So between the Vietnam and the Philippines, Vietnam has a better geopolitical stability than the Philippines. So there is a geo-economic reason, and then there is a geopolitical reason. And number three, internal. Okay, internal. Vietnam is like China, no? It's a very centralized government. It is the politics is directed by the Communist Party of Vietnam. Mas madali, you know, the decision making in Vietnam is quicker and more efficient than the decision making in the Philippines. And I think you know why, you know? In Vietnam, there is continuity. Okay? It's just like in China. So they can plan. You know, they can really have a plan for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Because it is planned by the party. So whoever gets elected at the top, that person will implement the program of the party. In our country, we change leadership every 6 years. And usually, the new leadership will not continue the policy of the previous one. So, it's so hard to invest in a country long term if your leadership changes every 6 years at wala talagang continuity. So, it's hard to plan. Implementation is wonky. Okay? And it's hard to take seriously a country that doesn't have that continuity in its decision-making process. Okay. So, isa-isa nila natin na there's a geo-economic reason, geopolitical, decision-making process reason connected to our system, and of course, infrastructure. Vietnam's infrastructure is much better than the infrastructure of the Philippines. I'm really sorry. Okay? And the reason why Vietnam's infrastructure is much better than the Philippines is also related to decision-making process. Again, Vietnam is like a mini China. Once they decide to do things, they will do it. Wala nang pagewang-gewang. It's because the line of decision-making and implementation in Vietnam and in China is coherent. It doesn't change every 6 years. Okay? Once na, okay, pag sinabi nila we will implement this in 10 years, they will implement it in 10 years. They will do it. So, ayun ang advantages ng Vietnam over the Philippines. Now, what are the advantages of the Philippines? Okay. Advantages ng mga Pilipino is that I think it's our human resources. Magagaling ang mga Pilipino, no? We speak still the business language of the world. And I think English will remain the business language of the world along with Mandarin. Okay, along with Mandarin. English will remain an important business language of the world. Filipinos can easily learn languages. We pick up languages easily. Tingnan niyo mga OFWs. Wherever there are OFWs, look at our OFWs, even though that they are not educated, they learn the language easily because we are that good in learning languages, no? So that's one of our advantage, no? We communicate well. Okay? We communicate well. And another thing is that Filipinos are good collaborators. Okay, we collaborate very well, no, with other people given the right conditions. The thing is, in our country, we don't have the right conditions for that kind of talent, inherent talent of Filipinos to actually develop. So if we change the system, maybe, you know, we would be able to develop in a way that would make a lot of people happier and flourishing. Okay. So, ayun, kaya Vietnam is overtaking us. So, ulitin ko yung mga reasons. In terms of geo-economics, Vietnam is much better than the Philippines. In terms of geopolitics, Vietnam is much better location than the Philippines. In terms of efficiency in decision making and the continuity of implementation, Vietnam wins over the Philippines. And in terms of infrastructure development, Vietnam wins over the Philippines. So that's why Vietnam is a more attractive place to invest than the Philippines. Okay, next question. Tanong ni you, Sylvie, you plan to take HSK? Yes, it is required. It is required in my PhD studies to learn Chinese and to pass HSK level 3. At least level 3. Okay. Tanong ni Hanalet, Allendale pala ang dating provider. Yeah, our family's company was the provider of PBA during the time of FEM. Okay. Oh, meron pa palang ikalimang reason. Ikalimang reason is science. Vietnam and China are similar. You know, they are not scientific knowledge is very appreciated and well developed in China and Vietnam because they are not religious countries like ours. No, they don't. Remember, Vietnam, Buddhism is the most practiced religion. And Buddhism is a very science-friendly religion. So ayun, ulitin ko, geoeconomics, geopolitics, decision-making process, and continuity of policy, infrastructure development, and science. The advancement of scientific knowledge and scientific thinking of its citizens and of the government. So, yun. So, tanong ni Anne-Marie, ano po ang form of government ng China? China is a socialist country with Chinese characteristics. Should PH join BRICS? Well, ang tanong, are we qualified to join BRICS? May qualifications in order to join BRICS, ha? Okay, next question. Tanong ni Oyen, Miss Sass, your take po regarding sa pension reform ng PNP, AFP? Well, ako, in principle, I'm against the reform because, the PNP and the AFP, these are professions that require you to actually, that requires you to have your life itself to be your capital, to be in that job. Okay? It's a life-threatening profession, And I think as a nation, we should be grateful for the services that they are giving to our country. And giving them a state-sponsored pension is one of them. Now, the other argument, ang sabi kasi nila, given the way, right now, given the things are, it seems that our country cannot pay for their pension. Okay. So ngayon, ang problema ngayon is, I wanna meet somewhere wherein pwede silang mag-contribute, pero we should be doing something in order na our economic system would transition to that time na we will not require them to, hindi na natin sila mag-require, nakakaltasan pa natin yung sweldo nila para sa kanilang pension. Do you understand what I mean? So we need to meet halfway and make sure na we transition, that we strengthen our economy so that after a period of time, we will not require anymore na sila ay nakakaltasan pa natin yung sweldo nila. Tanong ni Consuelo Padilla, Mrs. how true na controlled ng government ang news dyan? Well, in every country, news is controlled. In every country, news is controlled. It is not something that is practiced only here in China. Controlling news is being done in every country of the world. Tanong ni John, how do you compare the educational system of China and the Philippines? It's much harder here. May nagsabi nga sa akin na yung isang international student, kasi dito only masters and PhD level ang merong English language na program. Ang sabi sa akin ng isang international student, ang Chinese language education dito, so from bachelor's, master's, and PhD, is 10 times much harder than the English taught program. So sabi ko, syempre Filipino tayo, we would like to take up the challenge. Sabi ko, well, I want to take, what the Chinese are taking. Sabi nila, well, in the first, unang-una, dapat ka munang marunong mag-Mandarin. And of course, hindi lang basta-basta Mandarin, academic Mandarin. So, ayun. So, huwag kayong news is controlled everywhere in the world. It is. Do you think na journalists can just report anything that they want? No, it's only through social media. Actually, the social media here in China is very, very flourishing. Makikita mo, Chinese people complain a lot a lot about things. They complain, you know, like everyday things, you know, that okay, some things are not working, etc., etc. So, ayun. Tanong ni Raquel, Sas, paano kayo nakakuha ng scholarship dyan sa China? Well, Raquel, ang aking scholarship is the ASEAN China Young Leaders Scholarship Program. And it is awarded every year, so you have to compete with a lot with different people, okay, in ASEAN. So every ASEAN members, of course, may na-awardan. So I applied to that program. I submitted my transcript of records from my previous university in the Netherlands, my diploma. Importante yung CV because the scholarship is not only given to anyone. Kailangan dapat maganda yung CV mo. And then, of course, meron kang, dahil nga PhD ako, I have to submit a project proposal. And then I waited May, June, July. I waited 3 months before I finally got the announcement from Jakarta. Kasi sa Jakarta yung base ng ASEAN China Young Leaders Scholarship Program. So I got the information from Jakarta, Indonesia, that I got awarded the scholarship. So that's it. Tanong ni Gretch, hi Miss Sass, thoughts about the joint patrol approved by BBM according to AFP? All I can say is this, no? We are back to colonial times, and I'm not just saying this from a theoretical perspective. I know it for a fact. Ayoko na sabihin kasi may mga tao na if they cannot say it publicly, I will not say it publicly. But I know it for a fact. Okay. The main problem of the Philippines is this: our military is weak because our economy is not unleashing its full potential. We cannot strengthen our military power by depending on an outside power. It will never happen. We have been dependent on the United States since 1946, no, as an independent country. I don't even consider our country independent, as an independent country since 1946. So, bakit hanggang ngayon, 2023, we are still talking about the weakness of our military? What happened? Ilang years na yon? Almost 50 years, girls. So, ibig sabihin, there's something wrong with what we're doing. And if we think na since 1946, ilang taon ba yan? 2023 minus 1946. Paki-compute nga. Hindi ako mabilis sa mag-compute sa math. 2023 minus 1946. Okay. Wala pang nag-compute. Anyway, may tanong si Anne-Marie, mas marami po bang transphobic dyan or sa Pilipinas? I don't know. Actually, it's not really something that even crossed my mind. So 77 years, we have been dependent on the United States to modernize our military. And it didn't happen. 77 years. What else do you want? No? What else do you want as evidence that this dependency will not lead to the outcome that we want? The only way that we can have a strong military is we strengthen or unleash the full potential of our economy. And maraming sanga-sanga yan of the things that we must do in order to do that. Okay? So, yun. So yung nagtanong kanina about transphobia, I will just like to remind you Now, one of the most respected figures in Chinese pop culture is actually a trans woman, si Jin Xing. Jin Xing is actually a trans woman. She was a former, actually, PLA, you know? And she's actually a very respected figure here in China. And you can actually change your name and legal sex here in China after sex reassignment surgery. Actually, they have a much better system here in China than the Philippines. Actually, Vietnam, China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore have a much better system when it comes to trans people than other countries in Asia. You couldn't believe it. It's not just being trumpeted out there as some sort of achievement, because this is a scientific issue, no? You know, the trans issue is a scientific issue, and then there is a medical consensus on what to do with it, and then that's how they do it. So that's it. So sabi ni Ana, siya ba yung magaling na dancer? Yes. Jinxing is actually a leading figure in contemporary dance here in China. So she's actually very good. She's a very good dancer in contemporary dance. And she actually she was actually the most famous talk show host here in China. I think 5 years ago, ang tagal ng show niya, dito sa China. Kaya everyone knows Jin Xing, you know, from the younger kids. Actually, I had a classmate before in the Netherlands, Chinese siya. Sabi niya, she grew up having Jin Xing as one of her female role models. So I guess you know how what that means, no? So it's like a female classmate, you know, she's like a biological woman, and then she said that one of her women role models when she was growing up was Jin Xing. So, ayun. So, wala nang question. Any more question? Wala na. Okay guys, thank you so much. Have a good night. At I will continue what I'm doing here, and enjoy your week. Bye!